Hello, everybody, and I'd like to welcome you to the Staffing Matters and Urgency Committee. All the councillors that are expected are here, so there are no apologies to give. First item is declarations of interest, so I'll just give a couple of seconds in case any councillors have anything to declare in relation to any agenda items. So no further declarations to make. The second agenda item is the exclusion of press and public, and it's suggested that Annex A of agenda item 8 and Annexes A and B of agenda item 9 should exclude the press and the public on the grounds that they contain information relating to individuals and the financial affairs of particular persons, and it's outlined in the agenda pack why under the Local Government Act 1972 that's recommended. So again, I'll just give a couple of seconds to either see nods or symbols that everybody is happy with that, so I can see that everybody is agreed on those agenda item annexes that will exclude the press and the public when we get to them at the end of the meeting. Thank you very much. Agenda item 3 is the minutes of the previous meeting that are included on pages 1 to 4. And again, I'll just give a couple of seconds in case there are any matters arising or questions from the minutes. If not, if I could ask colleagues if they're content that we can sign off those minutes. And again, I can see nods, so thank you very much. So minutes will be agreed from the previous meeting. Item 4 is public participation. We did have one registered speaker who has sent her apologies, which will be noted. She has sent me an email with the points that she was going to raise, mostly in relation to the management structure, and I will pass that on to officers after the meeting so that a response can be arranged. But I'd like to thank her for getting in touch in advance. And then agenda item 5 is appointment of subcommittee for the appointment of an assistant director for children's services, and I'll hand over to Trudy.
Thank you, Councillor. This is a report to get approval from the Staff Matters Urgency Committee to put together an appointment subcommittee for the Assistant Director of Children's Services. I think you've had a number of these reports over the previous months, so it follows the same structure. So the current post holder has resigned and is leaving the authority at the end of October. So it's approval to go out and recruit for a like-to-like replacement, and for this appointment, for this committee to put together an appointment subcommittee. It is a member appointment, so we'll go through the the normal process for that appointment. I won't take us through each page of the report. I think members will have read it.
Thank you very much, Trudy. Open it for any questions or comments. Councillor Kilbane.
No, thanks, Chair. Thanks, Trudy. Can I just ask on point 10, how is it decided what constitutes the main parties?
I think that's normally in. So it's normally 3 members appointment, a 3-member appointment, and it's relevant to the split across the parties. I can get you the full wording afterwards, Councillor Kilbane, if that helps. Yeah.
Not because I think there is actually a slight error in this paper in that if you were to work out a panel of 3 proportionally, it actually comes out as 2 Liberal Democrats and 1 Labour, and that is the previous policy that was followed. What happened was that when there is an appointment that a Green executive member rightly would want to be involved in, for example, the housing one previously, the Liberal Democrats gave up a place to enable the Green executive member to take part in those relevant panels, which we agreed amongst ourselves. But I definitely think that would be a point worth Rachel following up afterwards and checking, and just to seek clarification on. Yeah,
so if we seek that clarification and email round, and if we can get your the relevant representative from your groups following that email, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, just to check if there are any further questions or comments, certainly from my perspective, think it's important as quickly as possible to start the advertising process and obviously put the correct recruitment process in place so that we can recruit to that really crucial assistant director for children's services post. And I'm happy with the recommendations, obviously subject to that advice coming from Rachel after the meeting. And again, I'll just look to colleagues to check others are happy with that. So we've got the 3 recommendations in front of us, obviously subject to us receiving that advice after the meeting. Councillor Cobain.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. So can I just ask, well, so is it possible that this will be sequential so that as the previous AD leaves, the new one will start in October? Can we do things that quickly?
Ideally, we'd like to. What generally happens is somebody coming into this level of role would normally have a 3 month notice period. So we do try and get them released sooner. That's not always the case. So there is often a gap of a month or so, but we will try our hardest to get it all kind of prepped in the background, ready for this decision. So it'll go out as soon as possible. Obviously, we are in August. So in terms of the next kind of week, 2 weeks, that's kind of written off in a sense of attracting people, but we will do it as soon as possible.
Thank you very much. So we've got the 3 recommendations on page 8 on this. If I could see those in favour of accepting those recommendations with that advice to follow. Thank you very much. So that's a clear majority in favour of those recommendations. So that then takes us on to agenda item 6, which is the work plan that's been set out on pages 23 and 24. And back to Trudy.
Yeah, so it's a standard work plan. What I was going to suggest for the 20th of September, it's hoped that in line with the action plan relating to the public interest report, we'll have the guidance that was supporting action recommendation 1, that will be able to bring that here for comment and approval. It's going through the necessary processes around CCNC and audited governance, so that it'll come here hopefully on the 20th of September, so we can add that in the work plan.
Thank you, Trudy. And again, open the work plan to any questions or comments. If not, I'll just check through nods that colleagues are happy to note that work plan, so I can see that. So thank you very much. So the work plan is noted. And then agenda item 7, any business which is considered urgent. I've not been told of any, so a quick check with Robert that we don't have any business that might be considered urgent. So thank you very much. And now, as agreed at the start of the meeting, we'll move on to agenda items 8 and 9, where we'll exclude the press and the public. So thank you for coming, and thank you to those watching it afterwards on webcast. Thanks. Bye-bye.